Hey, what's up, y'all? Y'all good? I hope so. Baby, let me tell you, when a woman's fed up, it ain't nothing you can do about it. And then when you got two of them fed up with you, baby, let's get into it. Lewis sat in his Cadillac after talking to Nate, and he watched Nate pull out of the bar's parking lot while staring him down like he wanted to do something. Lewis didn't understand why he was so mad at him. He was doing exactly what he asked him to do. He was paying him to get them draws, and now he's pissed off because he thinks that's what he did. And no, he wasn't exactly telling Nate the truth when he said he hadn't tried to sleep with Monica. But the bottom line was he hadn't. She tried to sleep with him. And that confused him too, because she was in his bed, dang near in her birthday suit. The only thing he had to do was slide in. He had her right where he wanted her. And he knew she wanted him too, but then all of a sudden, she stopped. Lewis just kept running the scenario over and over again. But the only thing he could come up with was that her conscience started getting to her. But if she only knew what type of husband she had, she wouldn't be troubling herself with trying to remain faithful. And then they had the nerve to threaten him by taking everything away, even though it wasn't his, but he didn't like how Nate was holding it over his head trying to son him, even suggesting that he would send him to jail. That might was dirty. He didn't deserve Monica. Lewis was thinking about just telling Monica, but where would that leave him? He would lose everything, even Monica, if she found out who he really was. And Lewis hated to admit it, but he was taking a liking to Monica. Lewis was about to put the car in gear, but then his phone rang. This is Lewis. Then he heard someone say very quietly, "Hello, this is Monica. I wanted to talk to you about last night, but not on the phone." "Okay, where do you want to meet?" "Your place will be fine if that's all right with you." "Will you be finished with work by then, like around 5:30, maybe 6?" "Yeah, I'll be finished by then. See you at 6." Some hours later, Monica was standing outside of Lewis's door. He opened it, they spoke to each other, and Lewis was overtaken by how beautiful she was that he forgot she was still standing outside. "Are you going to invite me in?" Oh yes. I'm sorry. I was just thinking about something." "What?" "Probably about my behavior last night. I'm really sorry about that." "No need to be. I shouldn't have taken you up to my room." Monica moved closer and told him that he didn't take her up there. She asked to go. Lewis still apologized because if he hadn't asked her to go to the show, they wouldn't have been in that position anyway. Monica told him that he didn't have to because she enjoyed The Lion King. Lewis didn't know what was happening because last night she freaked out, grabbed her clothes and left. But now she was standing real close to him, but he didn't know what to do. Then she said, "Well, that's all I really came over here to say." "Okay." But Lewis was thinking, why did she just say all that over the phone? Lewis didn't know if he was supposed to say something, make a move on her. He really didn't know what to do after last night. And wasn't he supposed to let Mr. Kitty know what he was trying to do? Standing in front of the door, Monica said, "Well, I guess I'll be seeing you around," as she turned and faced Lewis. Lewis had to get around her to open the door. "Yeah, I guess I'll see you around." Then Monica turned to leave, but Lewis didn't want her to, and he was about to ask her if she wanted to stay, but before he could get his words out, Monica threw herself into his arms and started kissing him passionately. And while kissing him, she told him to take her to his room. Lewis slowly pulled away and said, "We tried that last night." "That was last night. But what changed your mind?" "I have my reasons." "I don't know, Monica. I don't know if you're serious or what." "Take me upstairs, and I'll show you how serious I am." Lewis was like, "Well, alrighty then. Ain't nothing else to say." He grabbed her by her hand and led her upstairs. And just like that, it went down in the bedroom, and it went on for about an hour. Lewis knew he wanted to take as much time with her as he could. He wanted to enjoy every piece of her. He felt he had done his job by the serene look on her face, and he was surprised that she hadn't gotten up. Lewis sat up on his elbow and started stroking her hair. Monica asked him if that was serious enough for him, and Louis was like a heart attack. Monica started laughing, and she told Louis that she really needed that, and she thanked him. But she knew he was probably wondering why she did it. So she asked him, "You're wondering why I did this, when I was always going on and on about being married?" "No, I wasn't wondering. It's your decision." "Well, my husband wasn't treating me right. He acts as though he doesn't even love me anymore. He made me feel worthless and unattractive. So I had to do this for me." Louis wanted to know if she regretted it. Monica quickly answered, "No, it was my decision and I made it. I'll probably even tell him about it one day, if it ever comes to that." Louis had to bite his tongue to keep from bringing up the prenuptial agreement. But instead, he asked Monica if that meant that he would be seeing her again, and she said that she didn't know. Louis was disappointed, but the next day he received a call from Monica asking if she could come over, and that went on for 3 days, which made it 5 days in a row that he was getting some of that butter love, because Monica had the love that he wanted, the love that he needed. She became like his homie lover friend. They would lay in the bed afterwards, just playing, kissing, and laughing. And one of those days, Louis asked Monica if she had met him before Nate, did she think he could have been her person? And Monica said yes, he could have been her person. And each of those days that he had spent with Monica, he spoke to Nate, but not one time did he mention that he had completed the mission. Louis wanted his situation to last as long as it could because he had never lived like that and he had never met a woman like Monica before. Every time he was around her, he felt like a better person, unlike being around Selena, who made him feel less than what he really was. The day after the last time Monica had came over, Louis was going over to Selena's to pick up baby Layla. When Louis arrived, Selena had baby Layla dressed, her bag packed, and they were sitting on the couch. Louis gave Selena a kiss on the cheek because she was looking a little agitated, a little unsettled. He asked her if everything was okay, and she said that everything was fine, but she told him that she needed a little money. Louis reminded her that he had given her $400 last week, and he wanted to know what did she do with the money. Selena said she had bills, Layla got sick and needed the pink stuff, and she had a few other expenses. So Louis said, "You ain't working no more?" Using the term very lightly. "I only did that because I had to. It's not like I enjoyed it, but I don't want to argue about that. I just really need some money." She was looking so pathetic, and Louis wondered what he ever saw in her anyway. He pulled out his wallet and then gave Selena $100. Selena thanked him and tried to kiss him, but Louis turned his head and the kiss landed on his cheek. He told her that he would bring baby Layla back that evening, then they left. When he got to his place, he couldn't wait to show the baby the house. He had already bragged to her about the new car seat she was sitting in. They walked into the house and he gave her a tour, and the baby was just laughing like she understood everything Louis was saying. Then he took her upstairs to a room that he had turned into a nursery. He showed her the new baby crib and laid her in it. Baby Layla was goo-goo gaga up a storm. Louis apologized to her about the way she had to live, and he told her that she deserved better, and that is what he was working to get for her. He told her that he was going to get them a nice place. He kissed her on the cheek and told her that he promised. After a couple of hours, he took her back to Selena, and Louis noticed that Selena looked much happier than she did earlier. He put the baby in her crib, and he was about to leave, but Selena said that she wanted to talk with him real quick. She told him that she missed him and that she still loved him. "You weren't missing me when I was working at the barber shop. You weren't loving me when you had a man up in here effing him in front of my baby. Where was all the love then, Selena? I told you I needed the money." "Oh, so now that I got money, you think we could be a family again?" "Yeah." Well, that would never happen. Louis got up and moved to the door, and Selena asked him if he wanted to take a chance and never see his daughter again. Louis asked her if there was a threat and pulled her up off the couch and asked her again. She said she wasn't making a threat. She was just saying if she can't afford that place any longer, then her and Layla would have to find somewhere else to go. And Lewis knew that this was her attempt at trying to get him to come back. Lewis just looked at Selena and told her that he guessed he just have to take that chance. But he knew that he would have to do something to get his daughter away from that woman soon. Monica was back at work, and Tabitha called her to the front because she had received another bouquet of roses, and this was the third time this week. Tabitha wanted to know what was Monica doing to that man. Nothing more than what he's doing to me. And that's all right with you? Tabitha, please, don't start with me again. I ain't starting with you, but you've been bouncing around here all week like you won the lottery. Okay, can I be happy? Is there anything wrong with that? You, out of everybody, should know what I'm going through with Nate. Now that I found a little bit of happiness, something to take my mind off of it, I got to hear you preach to me every day. But you said that you were going to sleep with him one time just to get back at Nate. And it's practically every day. Wait, are you jealous? Jealous? You live in a penthouse. Your husband is worth millions of dollars. You work just because you want to, not because you have to, like I do. If I'm not jealous of all of that, why would I be jealous of you effing some strange man just because he said something nice to you? I could have that anytime. Monica didn't appreciate what Tabitha said, and she told her that it wasn't nice. I know, I'm sorry, but neither is what you're doing to Nate. Girl, you are the one who suggested that I go out with Lewis. You were the one who said that Nate was cheating on me, but you never proved it. And even if he was, you said that you were only going to sleep with Lewis once. You aren't falling for him, are you, Monica? No, we just have a lot of fun when we see each other. Well, is he falling for you? I don't think so. Well, it should be pretty easy to break it off then. I guess it would be if I was ready to do that. Well, do you still love Nate? Do you still think your marriage is worth saving? Of course I do. But you're willing to give up all of that, regardless of how rocky things are right now, for this other man? Monica thought about it for a minute and she said that she wasn't. Well, that's exactly what's going to happen if you get caught. Monica appreciated what her friend was trying to do, but she wasn't in Monica's shoes. She wasn't the one experiencing the mistreatment from Nate, the mental and emotional abuse, so she wouldn't get it. Then Monica looked over at Tabitha as she was about to take the roses to the back and told her that she'll make sure she didn't get caught when she was with Lewis tonight. Lewis and Monica had another passionate night, but this time on his deck. Monica was worried about someone watching them, but Lewis reassured her that all of the buildings around him were vacant. After that, Lewis pulled her close to him and whispered sweet things in her ear, and he made a moan. He made it so good this time, it brought tears to her eyes. After they finished, they were just laying across his bed, and Monica often wondered what was Lewis saying exactly when he was whispering to her. But she was also thinking about what Tabitha said and what Nate would do if he saw her laying with this man. But Monica told herself that she would not think about that. Lewis looked over and asked Monica was she okay because she was frowning, and Monica said that she was fine, she was just hungry. So they went to a small restaurant in Chinatown. As they waited for their food, Lewis asked Monica if he saw tears in her eyes earlier. Monica wanted to know why did he think that. But as she was talking, her attention was taken by someone walking by the storefront's tinted glass window. But she kept talking and she told Lewis that if anybody was shedding tears, it was him. Lewis said he was a real man. He didn't shed tears. Then he pounded on his chest with his fist. Okay then, Well, I guess it was an owl somewhere crying out, "Ooh, this shit is good." They were laughing until Monica caught an image of someone coming into the restaurant. But she felt like her mind was playing tricks on her until she heard the voice. Yes, pick up for Kenny. It was him. It was Nate. Monica was panicking, but Louis didn't know what was happening because his back was to the door. Louis asked her what was wrong, but she told him to be quiet. Then she heard Nate ask if there was a restroom, and she knew she was going to get caught. She was looking for a way out, but there just wasn't one. So she did the only thing she could do. That was to get up under the table. But what good would that do since the table did not have a tablecloth? She just knew Nate was going to turn around and see her, but he didn't. He went on into the restroom. Listen, we gotta go. That was my husband. We gotta go now. Louis is trying to convince her to calm down. Let's just stay. He won't see us. Listen, you can stay, but I'm leaving. Just then, you could hear the swing of the restroom door, and Monica ducked back under the table. Again, Nate walked by, but he didn't look their way. He paid for his food and then left. Monica kept tugging on Louis's leg to find out whether or not he had left for real. Then a moment later, Louis said, "All right, you good. He's gone." Monica eased from under the table and fell against Louis. She was sweating and her body was trembling. So, that was him. Yes, that was him. It was around 10 o'clock and Nate called Louis to confirm if what he saw at the Chinese restaurant was real. He replayed the scene in his head. He walked in to get his order. The man told him that it would be about 5 minutes, so Nate asked if there was a restroom. When he turned the corner, he saw Louis, and he was about to go over and talk to him, but Louis waved him off and started pointing down at the table. Nate kept his eyes forward and continued to the restroom. Once he got in there, he no longer needed to go. He just looked at himself in the mirror and asked himself just what in the was he doing? Was it really worth it? His wife was hiding under a table right now, in between some man's legs. At first, that question was easy for Nate to answer, but now, not so much. Nate splashed some cold water on his face, dried off, and then walked out of the restroom. He didn't dare look in Louis's direction. He paid for his food and then left. Now here he was on the phone trying to figure out what the heck happened. Is my wife there? No, she left about 10 minutes ago. Why did you have her out like that? If she hadn't seen me first, you could have ruined everything. I didn't know you was gonna be there. We just went in to get something to eat. How was I supposed to know? Nate knew Louis was right, but that didn't help his anger. He wanted to know if Monica was shaken up. Louis told him that she was, but he convinced her that Nate hadn't seen her. Did she say anything about not seeing you anymore? No, but there is no but. I've put too much work into this to let it go now. You do whatever you have to do to keep seeing her until I can get what I need. Do you understand? That is, if you haven't slept with her already. Have you? No, Mr. Kenny. Good. There are some things I have to look into. Then I think we can move forward and end this mess. Nate made it home and Monica was stretched out on the couch reading a book. Usually she'd be upstairs or asleep already, but he knew that she was down there trying to quiz him about whether he saw her tonight. She asked him how was his day, and he said, like every other day, but I feel sick. I think I got a hold of some bad Chinese food. Then he headed on up to his office. Once he was in his office, he thought about how things were now with his wife and how he'd been treating her. What he thought was crazy was that now she was treating him the way he was treating her. She no longer tried to entice him, touch him, kiss him, and she slept with her back towards him. He knew that the affection she used to give to him was probably being given to Louis. Even though Louis had slept with her, his hands probably have been all over her body, and those images caused Nate to press hard on his eye sockets to help erase it. But he knew that he could still end it all right now, but he couldn't do it. So he took out the list of private investigators that Tori gave him and said that he will call them in the morning to get more information about what they did specifically. The next day at work had been really busy, and Nate didn't even notice that it was already noon. He hadn't even had a chance to call any of the investigators. A knock came at his door. It was open, and it was Tori. She walked in with a brown envelope under her arm. She closed the door, then said, "You must not want this to happen. I asked you if your wife was sleeping with that guy yet, and you told me no. I give you numbers to some PIs, and you don't even give them a call. Meanwhile, your wife is out there gallivanting around town, getting deed down, and you're sitting up here like everything is just fine. You don't know what you're talking about." Nate stood up and was about to tell Tori that he was tired of her complaining every day, but before he could finish, Tori said, "Oh, I don't?" Then she tossed all the contents of the envelope onto Nate's desk. What laid out in front of Nate were photos of Louis and Monica walking hand in hand at the park, going to the movies, standing outside his home. But then there were the other photos, the ones Nate could not believe. They were pictures of Louis effing his wife. Nate was completely silent, but Tori said they like to screw on the deck. Seems like the big smile on her face says she really likes it. Nate still couldn't believe what he was seeing. He started to spread the photos out. Oh, and that one right there, him stretched all out on that deck chair with your wife making sure she made that thing disappear in her mouth. Seems like he liked that. Did you know your wife could slob a knob like that? Tori asked jokingly. How did you get these? I knew a guy, so I had him follow your wife, and I got these back today. Now you can file for a divorce. You had my wife followed? At that moment, Nate knew that Tori had taken things too far. What if they had seen him? But they didn't. But what if they had? What if she saw him, picked up on what was happening, made Louis confess? Do you know what you put in jeopardy? Nate, I did this for us. Tori's voice sounded a little more timid this time. There are tens of millions of dollars at stake here. And you think you're going to decide to take control of this because you don't like the pace at which things are going? You had my wife followed as though you had a right. Nate picked up some of the photos and shook them in Tori's face. Then you come in here, throw them in my face, rub it in my nose, as if you were going to force me into activity? Nate, you always hollering about you thought. Who told you to think? Who is paying you to think? You aren't anything more than a secretary, and you did this? Nate turned his back to Tori and told her she was fired. Fired? Yes, fired. Now get the fuck out of my office. But I need this job. How am I supposed to live? I'll make sure you receive a more than adequate severance package and a personnel recommendation that will get you hired at any firm you want. I just don't want to see you in my office ever again. I could always sue you. Yeah, you could, and you might win. But if you don't, you get nothing from me. And I guarantee you that no one in Chicago will ever give you another job. Your choice. Then what about us? Are we still getting married? Nate looked her right in her eyes and said, "You crazy? No, you won't ever have to worry about that again. If you would have stayed in your place, we wouldn't even be having this conversation right now. But you wanted to take it upon yourself to get some shit that no one asked you to do. Like I said, there were tens of millions of dollars at stake, and your impatience almost effed it up. Now get your dumps out of my office and we'll mail you your things. Hey, baby, Nate is hot. He was not ready to see them pictures, honey. She done mess up that man nervous system. Y'all, get in the comments and let me know what you think. All right. Thank you for liking, sharing, and subscribing. And I'll talk to y'all later.